Hello.
Thank you so much, sir. So children, let me quickly tell you the flow of the session. So first of all, you'll get to know your mentor. Then you'll see a short PPT wherein you can note down if you want to note down any details regarding your course. And then you'll get to see a virtual tour of the dashboard by Rajan sir, followed by a question and answer round wherein you can put up your doubt or query and get the answer then and there. Then it will be followed by the actual demo, right, for which you've been waiting. All right, I hope the flow is clear to all. Now, let me tell you that we have with us Dr. Richa ma'am. She is a very seasoned tutor, right, and a wonderful mentor. She loves to interact with kids like you. And now I'll not take much time and request her directly to speak to you. All over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Monica ma'am. Yes. Good evening, everybody. I have two students already who have been with me last year as well, Keshav and Yashu. Yes. So welcome back, guys. All right. So before we begin, let me tell you something about myself. I'm Dr. Richa Tawar. I'm a dental surgeon. I'm practicing here in Gurgaon, but I love teaching. So here I am. For the past few years, I've been attached with Olympiad success. So very quickly, tell me, kids, how many of you have already appeared for Olympiad exams earlier? It doesn't matter which platform, but you have appeared for any Olympiad. All of you have? Yes? So you already know Olympiad exams are supposed to be a little more difficult than your regular school exams. Agreed? Why? Because they go a level beyond your current level, right? So you need to put in some extra efforts to excel in it. This much is something we all agree on, right? So why science? I hope few of you at least have science as your favorite subject. So when we talk about science as Olympiad for science, we should know that we are not just going to be here and mug up everything and, read the content and just go ahead and give the exam. What we want to do is to understand things. Why is something happening? What is the cause behind it? Because that's what science does for you. It answers your queries, right? So for example, if I ask you, you've seen lightning in the sky, right? When the weather is really bad, you get lightning. So what do you see first? Do you see the flash of light first, or do you hear the sound of the thunder first? Put it in the answer in the chat box. Let's see who is the fastest. What do you hear first? Do you hear the sound of the thunder, or do you see the flash of the light? Quickly. Kangsha is saying light. The flash of the light is first thing that you see. Shaira Babbar is saying you hear the sound. Okay. Maurya is also saying you hear the sound. Yashu Raghav saying light. Right. It is the flash of the light which comes first, then the sound of the thunder. Why? Because of what? Can anyone answer? Why? Why do we hear the thunder sound later? Why do we see the flash of the light first? What is the reason behind it? Because of the speed of light, Kanksha. Very good. But why is speed of light faster than the speed of sound? This is the main question. Think why the speed of light is faster than the speed of sound. Well, it's because speed of light is faster because light doesn't need a medium. Sound is dependent on a medium to travel. This is grade 4, right, kids? You must have read that your speed of light is faster than speed of sound, but we don't know why. This is what the Olympiad is all about. You need to know why. Because it is dependent on medium, that's why speed of sound is slower. Well, anyways, we'll do lots of such kind of questions and much more when we start the class. For now, let me just hand over the charge to Rajan sir, who will take you for a tour. All over to you, Rajan sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So firstly, we will do the presentation. So Monica, ma'am, you can start with the presentation, then we can do the dashboard.
Sure, sir. So allow me to share my screen. I think it is visible.
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
So a very warm welcome to each one of you to the demo and interaction program for class 5 science batch 2. As you already know that Olympiad Success is India's largest online preparation platform for Olympiad exams, and Olympiad Success Live is India's first exclusive live classes for Olympiad's preparation. School Plus by Olympiad Success is one of its own kind of annual program that includes 8 important courses that really matter at this point of time in your life, like mathematics, English, science, logical reasoning, communication, both spoken and written, Vedic math, and coding. So here you get one-on-one online CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB classes for grades 2 to 12. You also get one-on-one preparation classes for international mathematics Olympiads like SASMO, CMO, HKIMO, TIMO, Math Counts, US Common Core Math Competition, Math Kangaroo, and PRMO. You can meet our international rank holders on the screen for the year 2021-22. These are all brilliant performers, and there are so many. So the classes will actually be group sessions with batch size of around 20 students delivered through Zoom by tutors who have significant teaching experience. You get 3 sessions per week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Timing will be 8 to 9:15 p.m. with 5 minutes of break in between, like 35 minutes of class with 5 minutes of break in between, followed by again 35 minutes of session. So the sessions include a mix of theory, practice questions, doubt sessions, and discussion on previous year papers. You get reading material and practice questions, which will be available on the dashboard of Olympiad Success. You also get free access to Olympiad Success platforms so that you can practice topic-wise mock tests for both science and reasoning, as well as logical reasoning. Syllabus is available at this particular link, and fees can be paid by clicking on this particular link. Don't worry, all the important and relevant links will be pasted in the chat box. The fee for this course is 10,038, and it is going to be a 45 sessions course. The fee includes online classes, daily reading notes and exercises, practice of previous year papers, and access to Olympiad Success platform for science and logical reasoning. All that you require for these classes is a laptop or a desktop with good internet speed, with camera, because we do not allow students without video in the class, and headphones for better audio clarity. So ma'am has already told you that preparation for Olympiad exams is slightly tougher than your regular school curriculum. So you need to spend at least 2 hours every day to cope up with the curriculum. And of course, parental support is required at the back end to check answers, reiterate concepts and all. So you might already be aware that in 2022-23, Olympiad Success had students from more than 3,800 schools across India and abroad. And these abroad students hailed from 35 plus different countries. So the classes for this particular batch starts from Thursday, April. Rajan sir would clarify on that. So date will be
Yeah, it's
clarified.
27. I think it's 27.
Okay, so it's a typo error. So classes starts from 27 April 2023. That's all from my side. Thank you. Now I would request Rajan sir to take you through a virtual tour of the dashboard.
Sure, ma'am. Let me share my screen. So I think students, my screen is visible. So this is the website of Olympiad Success. Okay, I'm just showing you how you can access the content. Okay. So what you need to do, you need to click on the, let me log out first to show you for the class. So on the website, you can see here my account. Just click on my account for login. So once you enroll with us, we will share the credentials with you. With that credential, you can log in. Let me log in with my credential first. So this is the student profile, and all the content you will find here in the live classes. What you need to do, you need to choose the subject first, that is Science Olympiad, and then you need to choose the topic. So for each and every topic, you will find the reading material, practice question and answer key here. Let me show you the reading material, how it looks like. So this is for the topic plants. So this is the reading material we have. Okay. So for each and every topic, you will find the reading material here. And you will also get the practice question and answer key. Let me show you practice questions also. So these are practice questions. Okay. So for each and every topic, you will find here practice question, reading material and answer key. Other than that, you can also check the schedule here, like in which session, which topic we are going to cover. Let me show you schedule also. So the first topic in session 1, we are going to cover animals, and in session 2, session 3 and session 4, we are going with it. And in session 5, we will have a test discussion. So after each and every chapter, there will be a mock test. Okay. And we will discuss the test in the classes only. And like Monica ma'am shared, we are also going to discuss previous year paper. So once your curriculum will complete, in the end, we have the super classes. So in the super classes, we are going to discuss all previous year Olympiad papers for grade 5. Okay. Here you can check your holiday also. Okay. Like on which days you don't have the classes. Other than that, like Monica ma'am mentioned in the presentation, that you will also get the free access for science as well as for logical reasoning, topic wise mock tests that you can access here in the worksheets. You just need to choose the topic first. So with this course, you will get the access for both science as well as for logical reasoning. Okay. So these are the topic wise mock tests for each and every topic. Okay. What you need to do, just need to click on take exam to attempt it. Let me show you. So just click on start worksheet, then choose the correct option. Okay. Whatever it is, then just click on next. And once you complete it, just click on finish to submit. Once you submit, you can check the answer here. This is the feedback form in case if anyone have any feedback. You can check the result, like how many questions are there, time taken by you to attempt it, questions attempted, correct answer, wrong answer. Okay. Later on also, if you want to check your performance here in the performance tab, you can check it. Firstly, choose the subject, then click on detailed result view. And here you get the analytics, like how many questions you attempted, how many are correct, how many are wrong. Okay, average score, medium score, highest score. Then just click on review. And here you can check the correct answer is A and the answer marked by student is C. Okay. So this is all about the dashboard. Now, if anyone have any doubt or query, you can ask us in the chat box. Do anyone have any doubt or query? Yes, Saira, you can ask. Shaira, for today's session, you will be like on mute. So you can type in the chat box. We will answer your question. So students, any doubt, any query, you can type in the chat box. I'm not able to find live classes. That you will able to find once you enroll with this course. Okay, then we will like share the credential with you and we will give the access.
So
Is the
Shaira is
syllabus?
asking, is the syllabus same for all Olympiads?
Yes, so the curriculum we have, it covers mostly all Olympiad exams. Okay, be it SOF or be it like CREST or Unicus, it covers all Olympiad exam.
When will these sessions happen?
So we're going to start the live classes from 27th April.
Any other doubt? Please type in the chat box. We'll be happy to answer. What shall be the frequency of the class?
That you can, student, you can tell like Monica ma'am shared. Saira, I think maybe you have joined late. Monica ma'am shared in her presentation. Uh, can anyone tell me what are the days for the classes? Yeah, so ma'am, I think we have shared. So students, do anyone know the days? Okay, no problem.
Maurya,
So
Radhika, Subhumita, anybody? Navya, Kesha, who remembers the days? Okay, Kanksha
okay,
remembers.
Shashi. Yeah, it is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So Sarah ma'am, if you want, you can also watch the live session like again on Facebook page. Okay, let me share the links again. So we have the classes 3 days in a week. The days will be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And students, what are the class timings? Yes, 8 to 9:15, 8 to 9:15 p.m. No, it is not 8 to 9, it is 8 to 9:15. So we having a class of 75 minutes. Okay. No, Shubhamita, it is not from 5 to 6:15. Class timing is 8 to 9:15. Okay. Any other doubt or query, students, or shall we start with the session? No? Okay.
Then
Okay,
I
so
think
shall we?
yeah.
Yes, we can start with the session. In case if anyone have any doubt or query, let me share the links again. So at the top, there is our WhatsApp number. You can just message on that and someone from our team will definitely help you. Okay. So let's start with the session. So over to you, Richa ma'am.
Thank you, Rajan sir. Thank you, Monica ma'am. All right, guys. First of all, please switch on your camera so that I can see your face while we are studying and doing something. Secondly, I want you to be quick with your chat box, right? Because we'll be talking a lot. I'll be asking a lot of questions. So I want you to be there and answer me as soon as I ask the question. If you know the answer. If you don't know, then that's fine. So as you can see on your screen, the topic for today's demo is plants, which is this plant that I have shown here. Put it in your chat box quickly. What plant is this? I'm sure most of you are familiar with it already. One of the most interesting plants. Yes, very good. Guys, this is Venus flytrap. And it's a typical plant because this is supposed to be an insectivorous plant. Right? Yes, Ranvita, very good. So we'll start the topic, and first and foremost, we'll talk about the parts of the plant. As you know, generally there are two parts of the plants. The part which is generally visible to you with your naked eye is your shoot system, and the part which is generally under the ground is not visible to you with your naked eye is your root system. Now, I put an emphasis on generally because there are exceptions to this, right? I have never tasted it, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to be bitter or not, because this is the plant which basically eats the insect rather than we eating it. So your shoot system is the part where you have multiple parts of the plants all joining together. You have leaves, you have flowers, you have fruits, you have stems, all of them are there. For the root system, there's going to be only root. So we'll start with the shoot system first. We'll talk about stems. And as you know, stem is one of the most prominent part of the plant. It is a part which is most visible to us whenever we look at any tree or any plant. Can anyone tell me the two main important functions of the stems? Why are they so important to us? There are two main reasons why they are so important. You can just write the highlight words, the key words. You don't have to write the whole sentence. Very good, Kanksha. So, Mamita, at the moment we are discussing the functions of the stems, Bacha. What is their function? Why are they so important? Yes, they are the one which are holding all the parts of the plant, whether it's your leaves, whether it's your flowers or fruits. So they are the one which is bearing the weight, right? And as Shaisha, Yashu, Keshav, and Kanksha has said that they are basically the one which is responsible for transporting all the water and nutrient which your roots have absorbed to all the way up to all the parts of the plants, whether it's your leaves or flowers or whatever. It will transfer it all. And in return, it will bring back whatever food your leaves have prepared to each and every part of the plant, including the roots. So stems are very important because it is performing these two functions. And obviously you're able to see your plant upright, straight. That's because of the strong stems it has. In case the stem is not strong enough, what will happen? Do you know any plant where the stem is not strong enough? And then the plant is almost lying on the ground or taking support from something else? What do you call such plants? Yes, Anaga, very good. That's an example that you quoted, grapevine. But what are they supposed to called as? Money plant is also an example. Very good. Climbers and creepers. Excellent. Very good, guys. Yes, because the stem is not strong enough, so the plant is not able to keep itself upright. That is why it either takes support from the ground or from other structure, right? So they are either climber or the creeper. Now, as you can see, I have called my stems I have classified them in three categories: underground, subaerials, and aerial. Aerial, as the name suggests, is something that is out. Yes, Subhamita, watermelon is correct. Aerial is something that is out in air, exposed to the air, which is your all regular stems are. But we are going to talk about some specific stems which are performing some specific function. So these are few stems which are quite modified from the rest of the other stems. First and foremost, you have cladode and phylloclade. Now, what are they? They are, just a fancy name given to the stems of certain cacti, where the stems is flattened like a bread. And it's very thick. Why is it thick? Because it is storing lots of water. Where did the water came from? It come from the soil. You see, these are cacti. Where do they grow? Where do you find cacti generally? Where are they supposed to grow? In mountains, in rainy forest, where? In desert. And what is the one thing that is most deficient in desert? What is the most thing which is most deficient? The water. Exactly. So whenever and whatever water they get access to, they immediately suck it all up and store it for future purposes. That is why it is thick and fleshy. Now, as you can see, it has weak joints in between. That's like, two lobes are joined to each other, but this junction, this joint where they are joined together from is very weak. As soon as something comes in, like, the wind is blowing very hard or any animal comes in, these joints dislocate and it falls on the ground. And as soon as the condition turns favorable, it will grow into a new plant. So they help in not only doing, the photosynthesis, because it is storing the water. And as you can see, it's green in color, so it has chlorophyll as well. It is also helping in vegetative propagation. How many of you have heard of this word, vegetative propagation? What is it supposed to mean? Vegetative propagation means vegetative reproduction. Propagation means reproduction, means giving birth to a new one. Your plants have two main parts, reproductive part and vegetative part. Reproductive part is flowers, the part of the plant which has both male and female parts in it. That is supposed to be flower. Other than flower, all the other parts of the plants, whether it's your stems, leaves, fruits, they are all known as vegetative. Whether it's stems, roots, leaves, they are all vegetative parts. So whenever, usually what happens is you sow the seed and that goes into a new plant, right? But when the plant reproduces a new plant with a different method rather than the seed, here a stem, which is like this one, will dislocate and fall on the ground. And from this, new roots will come out and it will grow into a new plant. This is different, right? This is not normal. This is not regular. This is different. This is vegetative propagation. Similar to that, you have stems where they have thorns on it so that they can protect themselves from grazing animal. There are stems which become like a whip, like a tendril, so that they can help the plant in growing top of another plant or another tree or another wall or anything, because the stem is weak. It wants to take support from other different structure, from an external structure. These are aerial stems. Then you have underground stems. Now these stems, just like your roots, grow under the ground. Why do they do so? Because your plant wants to store extra food. You see, unlike us humans, your plants are not that greedy. Whatever food your leaves have prepared, they will consume whatever they need. Rest of the food is stored, generally in the fruits. But there are plants who will store that extra food in different parts, in vegetative parts like roots, stems, leaves, flowers. So here we are talking about the plants which are storing their extra food in their stems. Which stems? The underground stems. Examples are your onion, garlic, ginger, turmeric, potatoes. Right? What do we call these? Since we can eat them, what do we call them? What is the name for it? Radish and carrot are roots, bache. They're edible roots. And these, like the one I just talked about, are edible stems. Very good, Keshav. They are edible stems because these are the part of the plant where they have stored extra food in it, and hence they become edible. Edible means something you can eat. Not only are they storing that extra food, bache, they are also helping in vegetative propagation. You have to get familiarized with this term because it's going to come again and again. Vegetative means any part of the plant other than flower. Propagation means reproduction. When your plant is reproducing through any other plant part of it other than the seeds, then we call it vegetative propagation. Here, your stems are participating. Very good, Banishka. Participating in vegetative propagation. You see, how are they able to do it? Because they are, even though they are growing under the ground, they are different from your roots. How? Because your stems have these two parts. I hope everybody's familiar with it. This was in grade 4. The part of the stem from where the leaf starts growing out is called node. Wherever the leaves will come out, that part is called node. And the part in between the two nodes is known as internode. That's the part of your stems. So when your stem is growing under the ground, even then it has nodes. And from these nodes, the leaves will start growing out. And adventitious roots, the roots which are growing out from a very random place, from a place where it is not supposed to grow out from, they will start growing out. It may happen that the condition above the ground are not favorable and this mother plant may die, but this underground stem will survive. And as soon as the conditions become favorable again, it will turn into a new plant. This kind of vegetative propagation is seen in ginger and garlic. They are called rhizome. Similarly, I want all of you, after this class, you can go to in your kitchen and can check these two items there, which are very common in Indian kitchen, a potato and an onion. Simply go in your kitchen or your pantry and check them out. If you lift up a potato, you'll find there are a lot of eyes on it, right? A general layman calls them an eyes. A scientist will call them a bud. From these buds, new leaves will grow out if you let it be. If you don't touch it, if you don't use it, you just put it there. It will absorb moisture from the air and new budding will start on it. This is how it vegetatively propagate. Once it starts shooting out leaves, it will detach itself from the potato and will turn into a new plant. In case of onion, it is again an underground stem. These scaly leaves. Guys, I cannot allow you to unmute yourself in between this. So you can put in your queries in the chat box. I'll read them. So you have dry scaly leaves and then you have fleshy leaves. All of you have seen onion, right? It has layers and layers of it. So once you peel off the scaly leaves, you get fleshy leaves. This is where onion plant is storing its extra food. Right in the middle, here is a bud. Later on, this bud will turn into a bulb, a proper whitish bulb, like not the electricity bulb, the one you have in your home, not that bulb, but a regular bulb. And if you plant it into the soil, it will grow into a new plant. This is how it vegetatively propagates. Onion, garlic, potato, ginger, turmeric, garlic, they all have ability to propagate vegetatively through their stems. If you have any doubt, please put it in the chat box. I'll happily read it. Vanishka, you also raise your hand. So if you have any doubt, beta, please put it in the chat box. Navya, you too. Now, subaerial stems. As the name suggests, they are neither totally out in the air, nor are they under the ground. No. If you simply cut in a potato and make a vegetable out of it, nothing will happen because it has still not grown out a new plant yet, Navya. It has to proliferate leaves so that it can do photosynthesis. Until unless it has leaves, the new plant cannot be formed, right? Because it has to be able to make its own food. For that, it needs leaves, right? So it's not a new plant. Maurya, please put it in the chat box. It will remain there, and as soon as the new plant has grown out, Vanishka, it will dry off and become a part of the plant only. It will just decompose. Now, subaerials are the plants which have normal plant, a mother plant like this one here, but a lateral or a side branch that starts growing out from the mother plant and grow along the ground. Since it's a stem, obviously it will have a node as well. And wherever there is a node, from there, the new leaves and roots start coming out and turn into a new plant, which is completely identical to the mother plant. This is seen in case of strawberry and mint plant. The problem with these plants is that, if you sow them in an empty room, very soon they'll occupy the whole room. Why? Because they'll keep sending the lateral branches. One mother plant will send a lateral branch from which multiple plants will grow. They will send other lateral branches ahead, which will grow multiple daughter plants. So like this, very soon the whole room can be filled up with new plants. So you can take it as an advantage also or as a disadvantage also. Just like this is happening on land and plants, same thing can happen in water plants, aquatic plants also, like water lettuce. Can anyone tell me what kind of plant is water lettuce? Is it a fixed plant? Is it a submerged plant? What kind of plant it is? Water lettuce. The scientific name is Pistia. What kind of plant is it? Is it a fixed plant, submerged plant, or free floating? Very good, Yashu. Excellent. It is a free floating plant. Yashu, would you please change your name? You want to rename yourself? Yes, Anaga, very good. She said she has experimented vegetative propagation with the mint and it grew very well. Yes. It's a free floating plant. So what happens in case of water lettuce? It sends off a lateral branch, and again, similar to strawberry and mint plants, from the nodes, the new leaves will start growing out and roots will develop out of it. This is another example of it. We call them runner, and in case of aquatic plant, we call them offset. Clear? Vegetative propagation is clear, guys? If you have any trouble, Maurya, you raise your hand, please put it in the chat box. I'll happily answer you. Navya, if you have any trouble, then please put it in. Otherwise, put down your hand, sweetheart. Then, acha, this is what plant is doing by themselves. Is it possible for us to do it artificially? Like we can do it? We can help the plant in doing vegetative propagation. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. How will we do it? We can select a plant which has a very good shoot system. Very good shoot system, and select a plant which has a very good root system. Now what I'll do is, I'll cut off the stem of the plant which has very good shoot system, very strong and sturdy stem with a very healthy bud on top of it. You see, bud is the part which will later grow either into a leaf if it is a leaf bud, or flower if it is a flower bud, or stem if it is a stem bud of the stem. Now, we call this part which we have selected from a plant which has very strong shoot system a scion or a section. And then we cut off the part of the plant which has a very strong root. We'll call it stalk. We'll put them both together, and just like bandaging that you do when you get hurt, we'll just use a piece of cloth and bandage them together. Very soon you'll find that new leaves will start growing out of it. This is called stem grafting. Here you have artificially held the plant in vegetative propagation. No, now where we need to take out the bud inside the onion and then sow it in the soil. Let it have plenty of water, plenty of sunlight, and then it will grow into a new plant. Right? Now, this was grafting where we took two different parts of two different plants and then joined them together. If you have a plant like rose or a chrysanthemum or a jasmine, you simply take a stem which is very healthy and has lots of buds on it, cut it and put it in soil. Water it. Give it plenty of sunlight. It will grow into a new plant. This is the most common method which is used by people for vegetative propagation. But you cannot use this method for all plants. For certain plants only, like roses, chrysanthemum, jasmine, most of the flowering plants can grow like this. For stem grafting, we have apples, avocado, roses, where you can do this. Pine, plum. Got it? Now, we have leaves. What are the leaves known as? This is a very basic question. What do we call the leaves? How are they so important? Why do we put so much emphasis on leaves even though they are so simply plain green in color, so monotonous, right? Only green in color. Why are they so important? Very good, Kanashka. They are the kitchen of the plant. This is why, because you, just like us, plants also cannot survive without food. And what are plants? How are they different from the rest of the living beings? Why are we calling plants so important? What are they able to do that we all are not able to do? Not hybriding, but yes, it will grow into the stem of the, into the flower of which you have selected the section from. Got it? Navya? Anaga. Got it? Yes, they are autotrophs. Your plants are autotrophs. Very good. Very, very good. Autotrophs means auto on their own. Troph means nutrition. They are the one who are able to get the nutrition of their own. They prepare the food. Unlike us, it's not like I can drink a lot of water and stand in the sunlight and I'll be able to prepare food in my stomach on my own. Can I do that? Can you do that? No, because we don't have the mechanism for it. Plants have it, and they are the only one who have it. They are autotrophs. So the food that they prepare it in their leaves. Now, leaf itself has lots of parts. Just like your palm, your leaf is like that. Just like your palm, the part of the leaf which is flattened is called the lamina or the blade. You can call it either, whatever you want to call it. Both are one and the same thing. The tip of the lamina is called the apex. The edge of the lamina are called the margins. Right in the middle of the leaf, here is your midrib. This is a tubular structure which carries out the water. Where did the water come from? The water which root had absorbed and stem has brought all the way up to the leaves. Midrib will carry that water to each and every section of the leaf. And in return, whatever food your leaves have prepared, they will bring it all down through this tube to the stems, which stem will bring to all the other parts of the plant. These are all side veins, which are connecting the midrib to each and every section of the leaf. This is the petiole, the part of the leaf with which your leaf is attached to the stem. And this is the base of the leaf. Now, we say that for photosynthesis, there are 4 things which are important. What are these 4 things? What do we need for, what do our plants need for photosynthesis? What are those 4 things? Quickly tell me. Water, sunlight, and air. What exactly in air, Anvita? Carbon dioxide, very good. And what is left? Carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and what is left? This 4th thing has to be present in the leaf only. If it doesn't have it in the leaf, then your plant will not be able to. Chlorophyll, very good, Ranvita. Exactly, chlorophyll. If your leaves doesn't have chlorophyll, how will it trap the sunlight? You see, chlorophyll is not doing any magic in the leaf. Chlorophyll is a pigment which is providing green color to the leaf as well as trapping the sunlight. As soon as any sunlight falls on it, it traps it. And then plants use that sunlight to prepare the food. Got it? So these 4 things are absolutely required for the plants to be able to make food. Now, chlorophyll is already present in the leaves. Rest of the 3 things it gets from outside and prepares the food. Now, my question to you, there are 2 parts of the leaves, the top parts and the bottom part. Where do you think more chlorophyll is present? Here on the top part or here on the bottom part? As per you, which part of the leaf should have more? Top. Exactly. Why? Because top part is more exposed to the sunlight. In order to trap more and more sunlight, more chlorophyll is present on the top. And carbon dioxide. See, water is absorbed from the soil. Sunlight was trapped by the chlorophyll. But carbon dioxide, where did it come from? Where did the carbon dioxide come from? From the air. How did the carbon dioxide enter the leaf? Through what? Through stomata. Through stomata. This is what your stomata looks like under a microscope. You cannot see it with your naked eye. It has 2 kidney bean cells around it, which open and shut like this. Your stomata is not always open. It's just like your nostril. It is where your plant is breathing through. So only gases can exchange through here. Your carbon dioxide goes in for photosynthesis and oxygen comes out. And since this part, top part of the leaves have more chlorophyll, the bottom part have more stomata. Got it? So there are 2 main functions that your leaves are performing: photosynthesis and transpiration. You all know what is transpiration? Can anyone tell me what is transpiration? Heard of the word transpiration? No, Navya? Transpiration is the way plants cope up with temperature. This is just like how you sweat whenever it's very hot. Very good, guys. So you sweat, right? Plants, when the temperature is not right and whatever extra water they have, they tend to lose it all through water vapor. They converted all that water into water vapor, which is the gaseous form of the water, and release it outside through the stomata. This process of losing extra water from the plant through stomata in the form of water vapor is known as transpiration, which is a very important part of your water cycle. Clear? Now, where is it clear now? Yeah, it's more or less like sweating, like perspiration, like evaporation from the plants, right? In layman language, we can call that. Now, your leaves can also help the plant in vegetative purification. If I tell you that, will you believe it? Before that, tell me, we talked about some plants are storing their extra food in vegetative parts. I showed you the stems where the stems became edible. Is it possible for the plants to store their extra food in leaves also, some plants? Can you give me an example? Very good, Anaga. Spinach is one example. Lettuce is another example. Mint, very good, guys. Yes, these are all examples of edible leaves where your plant have stored their extra food in leaves. Very good, Shaira. Bryophyllum is not edible. Coriander is. Subhomita, correct. These are all edible leaves. You can eat them because your plant is storing their extra food in these leaves. Basil also. Tulsi, correct. Now, the vegetative propagation is carried out in leaves in certain plants like Bryophyllum and Begonia. Now, what happens in here? The leaves of these trees, these plants, have notches at their margin. Notches, literally notches like this one here. And then these notches, tiny, tiny leaves and roots start developing out. These are buds actually, like this one. And this picture is not that good, but there will be some pictures and most of the time, at least 20, 30 leaf birds are growing on one single leaf. That's why we call them queen of mothers. It carries so many leaf birds on it at the same time. And all of them will develop into new plant as soon as they detach themselves from this leaf and grow out from the soil. This is vegetative propagation by leaves. Examples, Begonia and Bryophyllum. This is a Bryophyllum leaf. Correct? Any doubt? Are they thirds? What is that supposed to be? Okay, moving on. Let's talk about roots. This is common, right? Grade 4, grade 3 question. We have two main types of root system in the plants. The tap root system, where they are basically, you have a central conical root and from which multiple lateral roots or side roots come out, right? And the examples are your mango, carrot, radish, peas, mustard, hibiscus. And in case of fibrous root, multiple roots, like an entangled mass of threads, is growing out from the base of the stem. It's all jumbled, mumbled. And you can typically see it in grass, wheat, rice, maize, coconut, onion. Correct? Agreed? Yes? Other than that, is there any other root system you guys know? I have said that name repeatedly, actually. Those of you who have not switched on the camera, I would really appreciate if you can switch on your camera. There are so many of you who have not switched it on. Please switch it on. Can you tell me any other root system other than tap and fibrous root system? Is there any other? How many of you have heard these names? Prop root, stilt root, aerial root, breathing root. Heard of these names? Ever? No? They are all adventitious roots, bache. Roots that grow out from, very good, Yashu, roots that grow out from a random place, not a place where regular roots grow out from. For example, banyan tree. Who all have seen banyan tree? You have seen banyan tree in real life? No? No, not even one of you has seen banyan tree in real. I would prefer you guys go to the park for a jogging and you will definitely find at least one if it's a big enough park. Banyan trees are huge, bulky trees which have thick branches. The branches are so heavy and strong that even they are not even able to bear the weight of it. So they need some extra support so that the branch don't fall off on the ground. For that reason, from the base of the stems, new roots start growing out. This is not a regular place of the root to grow out from. This happens because tree needs it. So the plant has adapted itself to it. From the base of the stem, the roots will start growing out and go all the way down to the soil. They are prop root, adventitious root, supporting the tree in order to remain afloat. Got it? So these are adventitious root. We'll talk about it in detail when we'll start the topic in regular classes. So this one is actually a banyan tree. As you can see from the base of the stem, it is growing out. Sometimes root modify themselves to store food. Can anyone tell me example of the roots which store the plants where they are storing their extra food in their roots so that they become edible roots? Carrot is the most common example. Sweet potato, radish. Yes. Any other? Turnip, very good. And anything else? Radish is done. Beetroot, correct. Yes, these are all edible roots, right? You eat them, bitter gourd. These are all edible root. And sometimes, for example, the trees that grow near the swamp area, in the marshy area, near the lakes, where the soil is clayey, these soil particles are very fine and very close to each other. They do not let any air to enter inside the soil. The roots start growing out of the soil to breathe. These are breathing roots. You see them in mangrove trees, breathing roots. These are some modification in the roots. These roots are not seen in all kinds of plants, but they are seen in specific types of plants which have these specific requirement. Now, can roots also do vegetative propagation? Yes, for some plants like your dahlia and sweet potato. Here, just like how it happens in potato, you have buds from which new leaves and roots start growing out. You call them slip. And as soon as they become big enough, they detach themselves from the root and anchor themselves into the soil and become a new plant. This is vegetative propagation by roots. And then we have the beautiful part of the plant, the one which attracts all of us, all the insects and even the animals to the plant, the flower. This is the only part of the plant which is not vegetative. It is called the reproductive part of the plant. Why? Because it has male and female parts in it. This is the male part of the flower. So you see in the flowers, there are 4 main parts. First is the sepal, this green color part. This is the part which protects the flower before it blooms completely. Then is the colorful petals which attracts us to the flower, petals. Inside the whorls of the petals, you have these 2 reproductive parts. The male part is called stamen. The female part is called carpel. Other name of the female part is pistil. P-I-S-T-I-L, pistil. So, why are they so important? They are important because your flowers will turn into fruit. And fruits have the seed which grow into new plant. What happens is in this male part, stamen, are 2 main parts, anther and filament. The job of filament is to just hold the anther upright, right? Inside the anther you have pollens. Pollens. Heard of the name pollens? This is a powdery substance which is present in the anther, which has male gamete. And in the female part, you have a stigma, which is this, a style, a tubular structure, and ovary. For flowers, because they don't have any hands or feet to do the job, they depend on pollinating agent like wind, water, insects, for them to transfer the pollen from this part to this part. In case of the same flower, if the male and female part are closer to each other, then they simply come in contact with each other and pollens get transferred to the stigma reaches all the way down to the ovary, and the flower will turn into a fruit. But in case of two different flowers of a same plant, what happens? Insects come in looking for nectar. They come and sit on top of the flower like bees and butterflies. As soon as they sit on the flowers, the pollens which are present in the anther stick themselves to the body of the insect. Your flowers are very smart. They don't produce lot of nectar. They produce this nectar in the nectating glands. Where are they present? Here at the base of the flower, here, under the male part of the flower. Once the insects comes and sit on top of the flower, they try to suck up the nectar, which is very less in amount. Their stomach doesn't get full. So they go and sit on other flower to look for more nectar. What happens? The pollens which had attached themselves to the body of the insect, they get transferred to the other flower by the help of that insect. If it is a flower of the same plant, we call it self-pollination because they belong to the same plant. But if it is the flower of a different plant, but same species, we call it cross-pollination. What happened basically was your flowers produced your nectar. It had pollen grains in the anther. The bees and butterflies came in looking for the nectar. They sat on top of a flower. The pollens got attached to the butterfly or the bee's body. Their stomach was not full with the nectar they received from the flower. They went to other flower looking for more nectar. They sat on top of the female part. The pollens attached to their body got transferred to the stigma. Through the stigma, it reached the style tube and reached the ovary. As soon as it reaches the ovary, this turns into a fruit. All these structures falls down, petals dries up, and this will turn into a fruit. Fruit will have seed, and seed will produce new plant. That is why this whole process is so important. Is it clear? If you have doubt, please raise your hand and put it in the chat box. Is it clear? Because then I'll ask question. Switch on your camera. Maurya is clear. Keshav is clear. If you are clear, put a yes in the chat box so that I know that it is clear to you. Yashu is clear. Kanashka is clear. Shaira is clear. Navya, Ramnita is clear. Navya, is it clear? Anagha is clear. Okay. And since you guys are not, Subhamita? Okay. Since all of you are clear, how about let's do a small quiz about from the topics that we just cleared. Okay? Here is your quiz. There are 3 questions. Question number 1 is an image question where you are supposed to, just a second. We are supposed to identify the process shown in picture P. If you know the answer, put it in the chat box. Just write A, B, or C. Which method is this? Anagha, Shaira, Kanashka, Maurya, Yashu, Subhamita have chosen C, which is absolutely correct. It is stem grafting. We talked about it here, where the 2 parts were selected from 2 different plants. The one which had strong stems was called section or a scion. The one which had strong roots was selected as stalk. They were put together with a piece of cloth, bandaged together. This is stem grafting. Now, question number 2. The female part of the flower is also called as filament, carpel, style, ABC. Hurry up, guys. Just have to put in one alphabet. Kanashka, Yashu, Shaira, Anagha, Maurya, Navya, Keshav. Absolutely correct. It is B. Carpal. Style is just a part of the female part. See, we have stigma here on the top, then you have style and ovary. But overall, we either call it pistil or carpal. Both are one and the same thing. Yes? Question number 3. Select the odd one out. Which one is odd? Now, they are doing vegetative propagation, but which part of this plant is involved in vegetative propagation in these one? Dahlia, strawberry, onion. Which one is the odd one out? Please put in the question number as well. I would recommend that you write question number 3 before answering so that there is no confusion. Okay. Navya, Keshav. Your answer is correct. It is A, guys. It's A. Ranvita, correct. Dahlia. Dahlia vegetatively propagation is done by the roots. For strawberry and onion, if you remember, they were stems. For strawberry, it was runners here. For onion, it was underground stem. Whereas for dahlia, I said it is the one which is doing vegetative propagation by a root. Correct? Any doubt, guys? Anyone? So how was the session? Did you understand anything? Please, class 5 will be revising what we did in grade 4. We'll be finishing up entire course of grade 5 and we'll be covering half of grade 6 syllabus. So there's going to be a lot of studying involved, right? So in case if you have the little bit of, things that when you were not familiar with, don't worry. When we'll start the regular classes, I'll touch base each and every topic in detail. Got it? So as you all know, the regular classes will start from 27th of April and I'll see you then. Okay? Bye-bye. Good night.